Have you ever stopped to think about the instinct of self-protection as a kind of wild animal? Imagine the scene. One sunny afternoon, the children laughing and playing around in the pool, while the adults are distracted and the conversation lively. Everything seems perfect, until, in the blink of an eye, the fun turns into despair. In between, the laughter of a child, wandering, moves closer to the edge, and all of a sudden, you lose your balance. What was supposed to be a time of joy, it becomes a scene of danger. At this moment, what would happen if no one knew the dire straits? The child begins to struggle. The struggle to find the surface, but the water in the hold, in an embrace of death. The adults involved in their conversations and don't have the idea of what is going on. It's a moment of pure tension in a child's life is at stake, and the panic settles down quietly by the pool. But it goes for our hero, for a dog who, in the midst of the confusion, and he observes it all with the attention to you. He hears the signs of desperation, the struggle for existence which goes unnoticed by everyone in the family. Can you imagine what goes on in the mind of a dog? Your intuition is sharpened, and the protective instinct that leads them to take action. It's as if he knew that the life of a child is dependent on their intervention. Stay with me until the very end, because that's all you're going to find out now. You will be surprised. The pup did not hesitate. He runs off in the direction of the pool. He decided to make up the difference. What happens next is a true testimony of the power of animal instinct and courage to you many times over in time for the holidays. Get ready for a story that is not only emotional, but it also pushes us to think about the bonds we form with our four-legged friends and the incredible power they have to protect themselves. Follow me on this journey and find out how to a simple, one reason may be life-saving. In the scene, whether it was with an intensity that might be touched, and as long as the sun was beginning to set, dyeing the sky orange and pink, little Lucy, his gaze curious and fearless, he approached the edge of the cliff, unaware of the danger that awaited him. It was at this time that his faithful dog, he noticed the change in atmosphere. He barked and ran in the direction of the girl, as if she could feel the threat of the invisible, which was hovering in the air. When they finally reached Lucy, I didn't hesitate. With a boost to the fort, he walked away from the boundary, causing her to fall to the rear and secure, while a slip-on from earth touched the stones and the dust on the spot where she stood. At the heart of all those who attended and fired, mingling with relief and wonder, the courage of that animal, it was simply awe-inspiring. It is in this spirit of unity and protection that I would like to hear from you. If this topic makes no sense to you, leave it here in the comments, what you've played. Your being here is what makes this channel grow, and to reach more people with this kind of content. Like the video and subscribe to are a simple but powerful, you can help us create a community that is stronger and more connected. And so, together, we can spread that message of love and courage by showing that each and every one of us can make a difference. And now, we're going to move forward as the journey of Lucy and I are still far from over. Lucy and I were at a turning point in your life, a moment in which decisions are made are essential to the shaping of the future. As they walked through the forest, surrounded by majestic trees, and there was a silence that seemed to carry the secrets, with a feeling of transformation, hung in the air. It was as if nature herself were watching the journey of these two friends who, in spite of their differences, they shared a bond, deep and unwavering. With every step, no one would think of the conversations he had had with me in the earlier days, the time when the vulnerability has become a force, and where the truth hides about his fears and desires are revealed. In the forest, with its rustic, seemed to be a reflection of your own mind to her. The leaves danced in the wind, were her ideas, from floating while in the deep shadows represent the seed-rom that came with. On the other hand, it was like a beam of sunlight through the canopy of the trees, bringing clarity and hope. He's always had a unique perspective, the ability to see beyond the small things that inspired Lucy in the ways that she could never have imagined. It was as if, together, they have managed to create a safe space for you to explore not only the challenges of the external, but also the internal ones, which often hold us in a cycle of doubt. Did you ever stop to think about the impact our decisions have on our journey? I asked, interrupting the thoughts of her. The question hovered in the air, like a drop of dew on a leaf. Sometimes, I feel as though we have chosen the paths that take us away from what we really want. It's as if we're following a script that you didn't write. The words to me rang deeply into Lucy's. It reminded him of the times when they hesitated to make decisions, fearing the consequences which might arise. I've always had a fear of being wrong, of making the wrong choice, and I get lost on the way, she admitted, looking down at the floor covered in dead leaves. But what if it's a real journey that is at risk? Live the experience rather than the fear of a mistake? Thor questioned, his eyes blazing with the intensity of his convictions. Lucy began to realize that the journey wasn't about to hit or you make a mistake, but if you allow yourself to feel, to learn, and grow along the way. And we were together, it was an opportunity to discover more about themselves and the world around them. She was reminded of a phrase that he had heard it once. Life is full of choices, and every choice is a door that opens them up to new possibilities. In that reflection lit the fire inside of her. While they were walking, they came to a little brook, whose waters reflected the light of the sun. The sound of the water rushing in, and it was almost mesmerizing. This is just a reminder that your life is going to go with the flow, no matter what difficulties we face. I crouched and placed his hands into the water, watching the fish as they swam fast. Just look at the way they move around with so much confidence, he said. They didn't have any fear of what could happen next. They just follow the flow. The analogy does not go unnoticed by Lucy. She knew that, as well as those of the fish, as many times as we need to loosen up and rely on the stream of life. Then, an idea came to his mind. And if we make a deal, an agreement between the U.S. to support them in the decisions that we make, no matter how difficult can it be? I looked up at her, a smile forming on his face. It's perfect. A deal of courage to be so. We promise to support and remind each other that it's okay to be scared, but don't let that stop us. In the heart, Lucy was grateful to have a friend to so loving and fearless. It was as if, at that time, they have built a foundation for their relationship, in a space where they can be authentic and vulnerable. And so, as they continued to walk, not just in the forest, but also of their own lives, no one is there, and I found out the hidden truth, which were, in fact, the key to meaningful change. A moment of reflection and connection. It wasn't just about to experience and fear, but to embrace the quest, with all its uncertainty and wonder. I now want to go more in depth on this subject, by exploring how the courage to be open to the new, it can transform not only how we see ourselves, but also for the way in which we relate to the world. After all, it is the real magic happens when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and this can lead to experiences that I never imagined. He comments that, I'm on this journey too. I now want to go more in depth on this subject, by exploring how the courage to be open to the new, it can transform not only how we see ourselves, but also for the way in which we relate to the world. After all, it is the real magic happens when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, and this can lead to experiences that I never imagined. Imagine for a moment the feeling of being in an unfamiliar place, surrounded by people who speak a language you barely understand, but that are, in some way, they share the same vibrant energy and a curiosity to explore the unknown. It is against this backdrop that the transformation will begin. The vulnerability, and this is the word that many times might seem like a chore. In fact, it's an open door to the authenticity. When we allow ourselves to be who we truly are, without masks, we can begin to attract the people and experiences that resonates with our inner selves. Such a genuine connection that has the power to have an effect in the various walks of life, from your relationships to your career. It's a virtuous circle. When we open up, we got the one that is most real and meaningful. When we talk about the mind, it's essential to recognize that the belief that we have to shape our behaviors and decisions. If you believe that it is threatening, your mind will create new barriers that stop you from moving forward. On the other hand, if we adopt a growth mindset and face every challenge as a chance to learn the day-to-day changes into a path of discovery, this is a change of perspective can be the key to unlocking the potential that are often hidden beneath layers of fear and insecurity. And what about the decisions that we make throughout the day? Each choice, no matter how simple it may seem, it carries with it a significant impact. Sometimes, the decision to take a step forward, even when it is the uncertainty that surrounds us, it can be the one that takes us to a place of fulfillment and satisfaction. Think about the last time that you decide to take the risk. It is when you accept a new job, and when I start a project, the staff, or even make a new friend. These are the decisions that shape our journey and reveals the truth hidden about who we are and what we have in mind. Right now, try to imagine that you're in front of a mirror, reflecting not only their image but also their souls. What do you see? Often the insecurities and doubts that tell us we're not good enough, that we don't deserve what you want. But what if I told you that these voices, they are just the echoes of a past experience? The journey of transformation begins when we choose to silence those echoes and just hear the voice of our true self. This voice is often drowned out. It's that they encourage us to move on, to explore new possibilities and embrace the uncertainty and the vulnerability that, contrary to what many people believe, it's not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, a show of courage. When we open ourselves up to the world and the world to the other, we created a space where empathy and understanding can thrive. This allows us to build deeper relationships and meaningful, to where the emotional barriers are broken down and the connection of the human being practiced in its purest form. As we move forward on this journey, it is crucial to remember that each step taken in the direction of the new one is a step in the direction of the growth. We don't need to have all the answers or a clear roadmap. What really matters is the willingness of the U.S. to venture outside of our comfort zone. It's the uncertainty that we find the opportunities to learn and progress. Each and every experience, whether positive or challenging, as it brings to you a valuable lesson that, if embraced, can bring us to new levels of understanding and achievement. In this context, the transformation becomes a continuous journey, where every day is a new chance to rewrite our history. When we choose to be in control of our own narrative, rather than as mere spectators, we begin to realize that we have the power to shape our own destiny. And to the extent that we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the doors to the revelation that, before you looked away, each of the revelation is an invitation to deepen our connection with the world and with ourselves. And that takes us to discover the truths that were hidden in plain sight. sight. And so, we continue on that journey, one step at a time, and explore the unknown with an open heart and a curious mind. The real transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it is a process that unfolds over time, as we learn to trust in ourselves and in the possibilities that surround us. Let's go out together on this adventure, where every experience is a growth opportunity, and every challenge is a chance to reinvent yourself. He comments that, "I'm on this journey too." And so, immersed in a journey of self-discovery, we are faced with a truth that hides that often go unnoticed in our routine hectic: the importance of embracing vulnerability. This is a space where we allow ourselves to feel and to expose our weaknesses that we have begun to crack down on the armor we've had over the years. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but it's a door that opens into the authenticity and a genuine connection with each other. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, so we have created an environment that is conducive to the transformation. Imagine an artist in his studio, rather than the standards of what is considered to be perfect. It is possible to experiment, make mistakes, and get it right off, revealing their true selves in each and every brushstroke. This is the essence of our quest. Every step we take, every choice we make, it's like a fresh coat of paint is being applied. At the time, the colors don't blend in the way that we imagine, but in the end, the piece is unique and reflects the way. I now want to go more in depth on this subject by exploring how the choices we make along the way, they have an impact on not only our own destiny, but also the way in which we perceive and how we relate to the world. Every choice is a reflection of the mindset that we have cultivated. If you believe that we are capable of change and our life becomes a fertile ground for new opportunities. On the other hand, if we allow ourselves to be carried away by the doubt and fear not, we have to restrict our potential and we separate ourselves from who we really are. An example of this is the story of a people who, after being put under great strain to find the strength to start all over again. Think of someone who has lost a job. It's something that could be devastating. However, in this situation, a person learns a new skill, a new love, and he goes on to reinvent itself in a way that you never thought was possible. This is the journey of transformation, is filled with lots of ups and downs, but it is precisely in these times of uncertainty we can find you the greatest revelation of ourselves. And to help you navigate through this journey, you have to be willing to look at itself. This is how to get down to the bottom of a lake, misty, and where, as we delve deeper, we began to see the clarity of the precious stones in which he was hiding. This is a process of self-awareness is the key, so that we can make decisions that are aligned with our values and goals. With each new choice, an opportunity to reaffirm who we are and connect us to the things that really matter. As we move forward, we see that the transformation is not a final destination, but a continuous journey. It is an invitation to look behind the scenes of our lives and understand the fear that is in the stall and the beliefs that limit us. Many times, these beliefs are based on past experiences, but we have the power to deconstructing them and to create new narratives. When we became aware of this, we give a new meaning to your story, turning wounds into force and the challenges on the stepping stones to success. And in this dance of vulnerability and strength between fear and courage, you will find the true essence of our journey. Each and every one of us carries within him a remarkable, and it's up to us to decide how to use it. What would you choose? Let your circumstances define your own path, or to take control of her own story. This is the invitation for him to make it. Each and every morning, we get a chance to rewrite our story, to try out the new one, and open the doors before seem to be closed. As we continue on this quest of self-discovery, I invite you to reflect on the decisions that have shaped his career. How have you dealt with those challenges? What have you learned from your experiences? These questions are essential for us to be able to connect more deeply with the truth, so that you can continue on our journey. In the end, each step is taken with the awareness and determination, leads us to a more authentic to ourselves. And then, well, go ahead. Embracing the journey, the experience, and the wealth is in the process of transformation. He comments that, "I'm on this journey too. I now want to go more in depth on this subject, by exploring the challenges that we all face, mold not just our decision-making, but also to one's identity." When you look at our history, we realize that every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise, a chance to reevaluate our own beliefs, and a lot of times, we reinvent it. The truth is concealed, this is the pain, and the difficulty can be a catalyst for powerful transformation. It is as if the challenge was a door that, when open, takes us to a new place of self-discovery and growth. As we navigate through this journey of self-discovery, we are invited to reflect on the mindset that we use. Have you ever wondered if you are facing challenges such as the walls or as a product? This is a simple shift in perspective can have a colossal impact on the way we live our lives. When we choose to see the obstacles as stepping stones, we have begun to realize that every crash can teach us something valuable, that each and every scar is, in fact, it is a symbol of our resilience. And that resilience is a quality that has become stronger in the face of adversity. Imagine yourself as a bamboo. The stronger the wind, the more deeply the roots are established in the soil. Thus, each of the difficult challenges you to dig a little bit deeper, to search inside ourselves for the answers, which very often we don't even know it existed. It is this vulnerability that we find our true strength. This strength is not the absence of fear, but rather rather the ability to move forward, even when it is not present. Many times, the decisions we make in the critical moments which define us. Remember that if you had to choose between the comfort of a well-known and the uncertainty of the new, with these choices, even though difficult, and you have the capacity to take us to new heights, they can open doors to opportunities that I never imagined, revealing the hidden talents and passions we're sleeping. So instead of being afraid of the tough decisions, we need to embrace it as an integral part of our journey. The impact of these choices that go beyond the individual. When we touch those around us, our story of overcoming it can serve as an inspiration to other people to create a network of support and encouragement. Just think of how many times that you feel encouraged to try out by someone who has shared their struggles and their triumphs. This domino effect is a testament to the powerful. As to the genuineness and vulnerability, it can bring people together on a higher purpose. But we must not forget that the process of change is non-linear. It is full of ups and downs, and each new twist brings with it a new class. At times, we may find that we are back, but in reality, we're just getting ready to jump even higher. It's as if we're in a cycle of continuous learning, where each individual's experience in a team with the knowledge needed for the next phase of our lives. And on this journey, it is essential to cultivate patience for yourself. Learn how to dance with all the challenges. It takes time and practice. It's easy to lose yourself in the urgency of the event, but the true beauty is the way we go through. At every step, even the ones that seem insignificant, we are building a solid foundation for the future. Therefore, it is essential to remember that each and every little progress has been made to the account, and the sum of these small wins leads us to a great deal. In the course of its journey, it is natural to find in times of doubt and insecurity. In such instances, it becomes necessary to look into the inside and a reminder of our reason for being. Does it really matter? What are our core values? These questions will not only help us to direct our actions, but also for the clarity in the midst of the chaos. It is in this reflection that we find the strength to persevere, even when the day-to-day makes it challenging. With that in mind, let's explore the many nuances of this journey. The more we find out about ourselves and about the impact of the choices we make and how we have built to our future, what happens when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and authentic in front of other people? The truth is that each and every revelation, it brings with it the possibility of a new start, a new perspective. When we embrace this journey of transformation, we have become not only are the protagonists of our story, but also as agents of change in the world around us. He comments that it makes no sense to me. As they delve deeper into this journey of transformation, it is essential to understand what each step is the construction of something bigger than themselves. Let's assume for a moment that we are in a path that is full of crossroads. Every decision you make are not just fashioned in our direction, but it will also have an effect on the environment around us. It is as though we are a small ray of light in a vast universe, where every choice enlightening for a new opportunity. When we talk about transformation, it's easy to think that it is a big event or dramatic changes. However, the real power lies in the small actions in our day-to-day. Every time I choose to act out of compassion, when we choose to be open, or when we take the initiative to learn something new, we are contributing to a significant change, not only in our lives, but also the lives of those around us. The truth is hidden. It is that, too often, these small actions will generate a much deeper impact than you think. Let's think about the concept of the mind. The way we see our challenges may be the turning point in our journey. A growth mindset allows us to see the obstacles as opportunities to learn. It invites us to reevaluate what we consider to be a failure. Rather than be discouraged, we can use this experience as a stepping stone to something bigger than themselves. By changing our perspective, we've opened the doors to what they were before the closed, allowing for new experiences and new opportunities to come about in our lives. And what about the decisions that we make? Most of the time, they are influenced by a number of external factors, such as the opinions of friends, family, or even the company. But what if we want to, in fact, to listen to our own inner voice? This is a journey of self-discovery, can be scary, but it's also liberating. When we allow ourselves to be true to ourselves, we can begin to make decisions that truly reflect our values and aspirations. This is an alignment ruler of who we are and what we do, creating a positive energy that it radiates to those around us. Now, in view of the impact that it can have, imagine that you are living in your truth you. You inspire others to do the same. This domino effect can be transformative, creating a network of people who support each other on your journey. The change does not take place in a vacuum. It has spread, and the echo transforms not only individuals, but entire communities. In this connection, it is essential in order for us to build a world that is more compassionate and caring. And let's not forget that in the midst of this transformation, it is common to find up with a resistance. Many times, the fear of the unknown keeps us from moving forward. Keep in mind that it is normal to feel that fear. He makes it a part of your journey. The important thing is to recognize those feelings and find ways to overcome them. This can be done by practicing gratitude, meditation, or even just talking to someone who has gone through a similar experience. The vulnerability is an incredible force that binds us and helps us to grow. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is at the intersection of processing, personal, and collective, which we find to be a breeding ground for lasting change. At this point, it is crucial to consider the role of empathy in our lives. When you put yourself in the place of another, we begin to see life from a whole new perspective. This practice not only helps us better understand the experiences of others, but it also encourages us to act in a way that's most kind and understanding. Empathy is the glue that binds us together, allowing our individual stories are woven together into a story bigger. As we move forward, it is interesting to note that the journey of transformation is non-linear. There are many ups and downs, the moments of clarity and confusion. It is precisely during this time that we find the lessons enjoyable. Each and every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth, and every mistake is a chance to learn. So, to embrace the uncertainty and complexity of life, we can become more resilient and adaptable. So, when we think about the path that we're following, keep in mind that each and every one of us has a role to play. The change starts within each of us, but if you expand it to the world, and when we do that, we are the true agents of change, ready to make our mark. Now, I say to you, I invite you to think about what this day stands out to you. What sort of impact would you like to generate? How can you contribute to the network of transformations? He comments that, I'm on this journey too. To the extent that a processing installs itself into our lives, we are confronted with a series of decisions that shape not just our way, but it's also the impact that we want to have on the world around us. It's fascinating to see how each choice, even the simplest ones, can unfold in unexpected consequences, and a lot of times, it's deep. Every action that we take, it's like a small stone thrown into a pond. The ripples that formed in vain, if it is spreading more and more, touching lives that they did not know. The truth is hidden. It is that, more often than not, we are fully aware of the power of our decision. When we set out to be an agent of transformation, it is essential to think about what that means on a personal level. What is the motivation that drives us? The one that makes you want to be the change you want to see. Many times, the motivation is rooted in our own experiences and the stories that we have and the struggles that we all face. The journey of transformation begins with the acceptance of the fact that we are in a constant state of evolution, learning with every step, with every mistake, and with every victory to be celebrated. It is in this context that we can begin to see not just what we want for ourselves, but what we can do for our environment. Imagine for a moment that you're in a place to be surrounded by people who are on the hunt for the transformation. The energy is palpable, and the conversations that are full of ideas and dreams. In this environment, you realize that you're not alone. All they share is a common desire to have an impact in their communities and leave a positive mark. This connection between people is the one that actually feeds the transformation process. It is as if we were all in a circle of support, on which each of them will bring their experience and knowledge while contributing to the growth of the collective. Now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line. Think about how our past can affect our decisions in the present. The experiences we have, whether they are positive or negative, helps to shape our way of thinking and the way we perceive the world. When we begin to understand this, we open an array of opportunities to rewrite our own stories. We can choose to not be defined by the traumas and limitations, but for a renewed vision of what we can do. This change in perspective, it is crucial for us to be able to break free from the patterns that do not serve us anymore. In the process, it is vital to cultivate a growth mindset. This means we must be willing to learn, adapt, and embrace the uncertainty. Each and every step on the way to transformation, this is an opportunity for individual and collective development. Sometimes we can find strength, both inner and external. Doubt and fear can become our companions on the road, but it is important to remember that when you meet them, we are also challenging the barriers that prevent us from moving forward. This brings us to a new understanding of the actual impact that we can make many times, that it is connected to our ability to mold and shape the situations around us. As we go deeper in the understanding, and with a fresh coat of revelations is starting to emerge, it's as if we started to see the world with new eyes, able to identify opportunities where before there were only obstacles. This clearly leads us to act, to take decisions that are not only beneficial to us, but what will reverberate have a positive impact in our communities. And, at this point, the transformation is no longer an objective to isolate, but it was a collaborative effort, where each of them will bring their talent and passion to the table. The impact of what we deliver to act in such a way that is unparalleled. Small changes can turn into big moves, and it connects us in ways we might never have imagined. Each and every one of us has a role to play in the symphony is one of transformation, and the beauty lies in the diversity of voices that came together to create a melody and harmony. It is a call to expand our vision, to be able to dream big, and to believe that we are able to make significant changes, not only in our own lives, but in society as a whole. Now take a deep breath and think about all of this. That is the type of the agents of change that you want to be. What steps can you take today to get started on writing your own story of an impact? We're all on this journey together. You and your voice is important. He comments that, it makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the truth hidden reveals itself. When we first started, this journey of transformation is a powerful one. Too often, we allow ourselves to be carried away by the routine, and we forget our ability to impact impact. Life is just a series of choices, and every one of them may lead us to a different path. Imagine if every choice you make, you could not only change the trajectory, but also have an impact on the lives around you. This is the essence of being an agent of change. Know that even small actions can have a big effect on you. Think about the last time you made a decision that at first glance seemed to be negligible. It may have been something as simple as helping a friend, or if you volunteer for a good cause. Now consider what happened after that. This may have set off a chain of changes. Sometimes, what looks to be a gesture is small. It can resonate on a much deeper level and create the impact you've never imagined. It's like throwing a stone into a pond. The waves are spread out, and each and every one of them is touching the other areas, so that in the end, the effect of expanding in an exponential manner. The stories we hear about people who have changed the world and often begin with a moment of courage. A decision has been made in a moment of clarity. These stories are not only on the great leaders and historical figures, they are each and every one of us. Have you ever stopped to think about your own story when they have defined who you are today? What decisions have you taken that in some way they have shaped not only his life, but also that of other people? These behind the scenes on your journey, they are what make you unique and at the same time, such a powerful thing. But what is clear is that this journey is not without its challenges. The transformation requires a mentality that is resilient, ready to face the challenges and learn from them. Many times, the fear of the unknown can hang it, creating barriers that seem insurmountable. However, it is precisely in these moments that we have the opportunity to grow. The real transformation doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It is when we venture beyond the confines of the family home, breaking new ground. Consider, for example, is the impact you can have by sharing your knowledge and experience with others. We're not just talking about the major conferences and events, and, at times, a conversation. A sincere with a close friend can be a catalyst for change significantly. When I open up and share their struggles, you can create a safe space for others to express themselves, creating an environment of support and growth of each other. This is the transformation in action. Right now, we are going to talk about the importance of mindset. Having a mindset of growth, it means being open to new ideas, willing to learn and adapt. This is to acknowledge that it's an opportunity to learn and that every challenge is a chance to reinvent yourself. This idea is not only gearing up to face the adversities of life, but it also makes for a light to others, inspiring them to follow their own paths of transformation. Have you ever wondered how you can cultivate this mindset in your own life? It is a daily practice, an exercise in self-awareness, which can be time-consuming, but it brings you the rewards it away. When you think about your values and beliefs, you will begin to understand how they will shape their decision-making. This is not just an exercise. It is a vital step towards becoming an active agent of change in the society. The journey of transformation is not only about the big gestures, but also to the small daily actions that add up to create a tangible impact. Every choice, every word, every action counts. The beauty of this is that you don't have to wait for a great time for you to start. The change starts right now, in the present, and with each step you take, it is a statement that you are committed to your own development and the transformation of the world around them. So, as you reflect on your journey and the opportunities that are opening up in front of you, keep in mind that your voice is important. What have you got to say? What you have to offer can make all the difference. And so, as you embrace this responsibility, and you'll become part of a larger movement, a network of transformation, which extends over the whole of society. We will continue to explore this journey together, discovering more about the impact we can have. He comments that, "I'm on this journey too." As we go deeper in this world of transformation and the impact, it is essential to think about how our choices resonate in the lives of all around us. Each and every choice we make, every word we speak, you can ignite a flame of hope. Or, on the other hand, it may also perpetuate the darkness. The responsibility that we have is huge, and when you know it, you start to realize that we are not alone in this journey. There's a whole network of people who are willing to support you and to work together towards a common goal, to transform not only themselves, but of the whole of society. Imagine for a moment how it would be if each and every person to be aware of today for the power that you have. A simple conversation can be a turning point in the lives of others. An act of kindness, it can set off a chain reaction. Where is the love? And the feeling spreads like a virus positive. When you embrace this idea, we can begin to understand that the change starts within us. You need to have the courage to face reality and to make the choices that will lead us to a brighter future. Now think about your own journey. What were the moments in which you feel truly aroused by someone else? It may have been in a word spoke of in a time of doubt, to or for an act of kindness in a time of need. These experiences can shape our way of thinking and encourage us to take action, to connect more deeply with others. And it is at this point that the real transformation began. When we open ourselves to the experiences of another, we increase our capacity for empathy, and that leads us to act in ways we've never imagined to be possible. However, it is crucial that you do not ignore the difficulties that arise along the way. On the journey, the transformation is fraught with challenges that test our resolve and resilience. Sometimes, things don't go as planned, and that it's normal to feel discouraged. But rather than give up, it's crucial to learn how to look at these challenges as opportunities for growth. Each and every obstacle and can teach us something valuable, and if you're willing to learn. This growth mindset is what sets us apart and drives us to continue moving forward even when the path becomes difficult. We're going to explore a little more on the role of making in our transformation process. Many a times, we feel that we are in a vicious cycle, with the same choices lead to the same result. It's a common dilemma, and that is the key to breaking this cycle lies in the courage to do something different. When we act out of our comfort zone, we are, in fact, opening the door to new possibilities. Life becomes a series of experiences linked together, and to take informed decisions, we can begin to shape our own destiny. For example, when you decide to invest in a brand new learning or looking for a new hobby, you can figure out the passions of the hidden, which otherwise would remain hidden. These small steps can lead to big changes, not only in our lives, but in the lives of those around us. To the extent that we impactamos directly from our community, inspiring others to also pursue their own journey of self-discovery. And don't forget that the transformation is not a sprint, but a marathon. Each individual has his own pace, and the most important thing is to keep moving forward, even if in small steps. Patience and persistence are combined with powerful in the process. Sometimes what looks like a small gesture can have a colossal impact in the lives of others. With a smile, good day, or even the attentive listening, it can change the course of a day for a lifetime. Now, I want you to go even deeper on this subject. By exploring how to connect with others, it can be an essential catalyst to transformation. The truth is hidden. It is that we are social beings, and that human interaction is vital to our well-being, growth, and development. When we come close to our people who share our vision and our dreams, we have created an environment that is conducive to change. The collective energy of the group can be motivated to go above and beyond what we thought possible, and to encourage us to face our fears. Building healthy relationships with others, and with significant, it is one of the cornerstones of this journey. To nurture these connections, we can share our experiences, lessons learned, and even our own vulnerabilities, and creating a safe space where everyone feels free to express himself or herself. This will not only strengthen our bonds, but it also provides us with a network of support that can be critical in times of trouble. Maybe you've already experienced it in the real world. Moments in Time, which is the exchange of ideas and experiences with other people, and has brought valuable insights. These interactions can help us to see life from a different perspective, widening our view of the world, and is becoming more and more aware of the realities that surround us. This is the power of the human connection that goes beyond the surface and touches on the very essence of what it means to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So, as we reflect on how our decision-making and the connections that shape our journey, I invite you to consider the impact that it can have on someone's life around. What will be your next action? What words can you provide that can change someone's day? The change is a shared responsibility, and that together we can build a long-lasting impact. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me." And so we come to the end of the day, reflection, isn't it? I hope you've been inspired to look into the small action a day to day and how it can make a world of a difference. Remember, every word and gesture to the account and the journey of transformation, this is us, together. If you've been following this far, how about leaving a comment saying, "I'm with you till the end of love." So, I'm going to know who you really are connected with this message. And if you found this content helpful, don't forget to leave a like. This is a simple way to show that you are put together in this exchange and that you value what we are building here. And of course, if you like this theme, I have a video here on the side that complements all of that we talked. It provides the most actionable insights and reflections, to be sure, are going to add it to your trip. So just click and keeps me there. Let's explore together the universe of possibilities. Thank you for being here and for sharing this moment in time and be a part of this community. Our decisions will continue to guide us and to positively impact the lives of those around us. See you next time.